Well, hi my friends. This is Jay, and this is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. I wanted to come on camera really quick to give you a little show and tell. I finished my shawl. You know, this is our Jay's Easy Garter Tab 101 little eyelet shawl. And I wanted to come back to give you the finishing touches at the very bottom, or the little idea I had, just to make it really simple. You know, after all this knitting, whew, sometimes you just need something simple as a picot. So that's what I'm going to share with you to finish up your shawl. But first, I just thought I might give you a little show and tell and let you see how it looks on me. What do you think? Oh my gosh, let's see if the camera will pick any of this up. Probably not. But, as you can see, it's quite full. It's a nice full shawl. It has a nice twirl at the bottom. That's what I like. Look, it has a nice little twirl at the bottom because it's so nice and full. See the little lace twirl? And then, of course, you can wear it, you know, of course, plain, just straight down. The back is really pretty. Back, let me take it off. I can't turn and then get back in camera range, so let me just pull it off and just kind of hold the back up against my white blouse, and you can see it. In fact, I'll take my little pin off. Lay it aside for just a minute so that you can see how pretty it turned out. Look. We'll just pass before the camera, and then it has the twirl at the end. The little lace twirls. That's just because the yarn that I used, just because we're just practicing. This was Caron Simply Soft. And this, of course, is after I walk you through the picot and the little edging. Then, of course, you're going to steam it or however you like to do yours. It depends on what, if you use the wool or some type of a blend, you know, you can steam it however or wet it and lay it out that way. But, of course, mine is just Caron Simply Soft. I needed at least 2 skeins of this beautiful, I think it's speckle. It's kind of a golden yellow looking speckle. So I thought that was really pretty for the fall. Now I'm going to put it back on. Let's see, can I get it back on? You see how it just hugs me because, you know, I'm short, so I really don't wear the V style shawls that come down into the V because I'm just too short and too fluffy. But as you can see, a crescent can just hug you. And then you can just, like I say, you can just flip it, put your pin on or something else. It'll be fun. Just like this. Let's see if I can do it without sticking myself. What do you think? Isn't that pretty? Pretty. It's easy. Easy wear, easy care, depending on what you make yours out of. Be beautiful in, oh, you know, I had some of that alpaca I had bought from one of the sales. That could easily switch into a heavier weight shawl. Or my plain old lime brand, you know, I love Vanna, that would be a sweater weight. I could do it in a sweater weight yarn. This is just medium number 4 weight, and it has a great drape. And I love it. And I thought you would love it too, so that's why I wanted to share it with you. So now listen, if you decide to do this, please take some really pretty pictures, send them to me because I want to do a Thanksgiving friendship album special. So you have plenty of time to get your pictures, get your projects done, and get your pictures to me so that I can put it into, I have quite a few already, nice surprise, for a Thanksgiving friendship album featuring my friends and fans and family on the YouTube. Oh, I love the little swirl at the end. Isn't that pretty? All right, so no sense in dallying. I just wanted you to see the little show and tell. I just wanted you to see that I did finish it and how pretty it looks and how the crescent suits my body type better. And I like the idea of the top down. When I try to go bottom up, sometimes I can't quite get the span long enough. But this one, see, it starts out and it just goes longer and longer and longer. So, I just want to make sure that you saw how well mine turned out. And I just know you're going to enjoy it too. Like I say, it's easy. Garter tab 101. Lace garter stitch shawl, just for my friends. So I'm going to take you to the counter and go over the Picot decorative edge, how easy it is to put it on this or anything else you have. A scarf, it could be the bottom of a sweater. So once you kind of get used to and practice it, hey, the sky's the limit. So I just wanted to pop on just to say hello, and then put my flower back on, because don't forget your flower too. I love a flower. Let's see, can I put it up when I stick it myself? It just gives it that nice pop. All right, let me get off so that we can get to the counter and get this done, and you can get your finish, get it all steamed, get you some pretty pictures. And I'm telling you, you're gonna look amazing. So this is Jay, and I'll see you in just a minute. So let's get started. Well, my friends, I'm back. I had to really put my knitting mojo on. I really had to get me some coffee, tea, and anything else I could so that I could get my shawl finished, and I have it done. So I wanted to come back because I know that many of you, just by the numbers, decided you wanted to give this one a try. And so the hardest part is just knitting. This is my Easy Garter Tab Shawl 101. Just for those who might just needed a little refreshing of how to start a garter tab and how to make an easy, just a eyelet style shawl. And like I said, the hardest part was doing all the knitting, because it's a lot of knitting as we work top down. So let me just show you. You saw me wearing the shawl. You see how pretty it is. It turned out great. It'll be a fun project to make again in any colors. Try some different different weight yarns. Like I say, it'll work with just about any weight with the appropriate needle size. So, all right, let's just take a quick look, and then we're going to get right into it, because all you had to do was to continue to knit down and to the length you want. And then I was coming back to show you how to do this simple or a nice little edge, and I decided to do a Picot edge because it's easy, it's fun, and some of you just once you see how easy it is, you'll be putting it on a lot of your shawls. A lot of people like a lot of the lace and all of that, but I'm short and fluffy. I just I need something simple. And like I said, with all this knitting, by the time I got to the end of the shawl, I want something simple to end it also. All right, so real quick, here's my pretty flower. Here's the shawl. Like I said, you saw me wear it. And I just want to kind of let you look at it again as I shared when I was wearing it, how it just flows, and it has great drape. This was just, for me, some plain Care and Simply Soft, some of their speckle style yarn. I don't remember the color. It's the gold and yellow. It's just real simple. So now let me turn it on the back so that you can see it. I'm going to lay it down here. Then I'll check my camera to see if I'm on. All right, let's see if you can see it. Yeah, you can see the main part of it, but the part we're going to be working, let me just hold it up first. There's the back, the center back, but the main portion we're going to be working on tonight is the nice picot at the, going along the whole edge, bottom edge of the shawl. And there it is now. I'll pull in just a little bit, just so you can see the picot. All right, so there's that. You can see how it just stands out, how it makes it. It gives it just that little touch without, by the time, like I say, by the time you get down here, you really want to wear your shawl. I don't want to draw it out any longer. So this is a fast and quick and pretty, little decoration to add on to the end. And once I show you, like I said, how easy it is, you'll want to add it on other things too. So there it is. As you can see, I'm passing it before the camera. And it just goes all the way. It's just non-stop. Isn't that pretty? And like I said, the drape of this, just inexpensive yarn for my first one, or for your first one, to give it a try. And then you can pick anything else you might like. All right, so that's that. Let me reset my camera, and then I'm gonna see if there's anything else I really, before I actually just start. We're gonna use our little practice piece since I've already got this one done. So I'll work on my little practice piece to show you how easy the stitch is. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. See you back in just a moment. All right, so here's my little sample that I had, I was working on to show as we started the shawl, working from the garter tab and down. And then, the idea was to it's all in garter stitch, just knit every row, but just to give a little separation, I shared with you how to do those beautiful little lace yarn over stitches that made this pretty little row of, I don't know, instead of eyelets, maybe this more like a lattice. I don't know what you call it. But anyway, it just breaks up all that garter, knitting every row. All right, so now on this, we're going to have to pretend a little bit. I just decided to do like 12 ridges. Remember I said just separate it and just whatever number you pick out, just do the same thing. You don't have to. You can do your own thing. But it just made it easy on this first one. So I simply used number 12. So I did maybe a block of 12. I counted the ridges, not the rows. And when I got to 12 ridges, then I stuck in this pretty little lattice or this little lacy yarn over work. And then I went back, once I finished that, and then I went back to another section, another section. So now we're going to pretend like we're at the very bottom. You saw the bottom of the shawl. You saw the picot little edging. So now I'm going to show you how easy to do that edging. So now we're pretending. I'm at the bottom of my shawl, and now I want to stop. And I want to put this little edging on because I'm excited and I want to wear my shawl. All right, the first thing I want you to do after you finish the last block of garter ridge rows, oh, I got a little snag there. Make sure you're on the wrong side. When I did my shawl, I did it on the right side, and then I looked at it, and I really liked the wrong side better. So go ahead, and I have my wrong side marked, so I know where I am. Go ahead and be on the wrong, ready to work, on the wrong side of the fabric, the shawl. So here it is. I'm going to take my little cap off and move it. You will also, I suggest to go ahead and have another double pointed needle, just like when we started the little shawl, when we did the garter tab. It was just a lot easier. So now watch. On the wrong side, here's the yarn, here's the needle, and here's the yarn. So on this side, instead of trying to work what I'm about to show you with the needle that's attached, the other part of the circular, cap this part off, and I'm going to show you. Now in this little sample, it's easy, but when you're working on that big long shawl, I didn't think I was ever going to get all those picots done. So it's easy to cap this in and just drop it and just work with this end with the fabric and one of the double pointed needles. It's so much easier. And we're going to start right here on the very first, I'm on the wrong side of the fabric. I'm on the very first stitch. Okay, I'm going to put, let me just check my camera, just see where I am, if I'm good. I think that's pretty good. I think you'll be able to see it. Okay. I'm going to start with the very first stitch. I'm going to put my little short bamboo in, and I'm going to knit 2 stitches on to this needle. And I simply put it in, and I just knit a stitch, pull it up, and twist it, or go into the front like that. Can you see that? I'm going to do it again. That's 1 stitch. I'm going to add 2 stitches. This is it's 2 and 4. 2 and 4. That's how this one is going to work. And that's usually how most of them work. So I put it in, put my needle in again. I knit the next stitch. I lift it, or see, pull that stitch up, and then go in from the front like that. I just like to have that twist to make it a real stitch. Now I have 2 extra stitches on this needle, on this back, on the back of the fabric. Now we're going to bind off 4 stitches. We add 2, then bind off 4. And this is all how you're going to do it. Alright, so I have to, in order to bind off, you know the process, you got to have at least 2 stitches to start it. So I knit the first 2. 1, then I knit into the next stitch. That's 2. Now reach back and I bind off. Just like that, just like any other project. Now I'm going to continue to, that's 1 stitch bound off, 1. So now I need to do number 2. So I have to knit, reach back, and bind off. Now I'm going to do number 3. Knit, reach back, and simply bind off. And in the last stitch, number 4, I knit it, then reach back and bind off. There is a picot. There's my picot. I'll pull that needle out for a second. There's my little picot. Doesn't look like much right now, but it will. So then I can drop my markers now. I can drop, whatever markers you have. We're done with that. We're ending this shawl. As soon as you bind off the last stitch, don't worry about that yarn over or anything. We're going to work it all in here. As soon as you bind off that last stitch, pull it up. Number 4, just pull it up. Now watch. Put that same, go through the front, just like this, and put it back on the right hand needle, this needle here. And we're going to start the process again. I need to add on 2 stitches. So I put the, you're going to just doing it with this. See, I'm not having to, like I say, it's easy on this, but on that big shawl, having to move all that fabric around, this is so much easier. A little double pointed needle. So I need to add on 2 stitches, or knit on 2 stitches. So here we go. I knit 1, pull it up, go through the front, just like that. That's 1 stitch. Do it again. 2, pull it up, go through the front. Okay? So now I've added 2 stitches. And how many stitches we have to bind off? 4. So I start with knit 1, then knit 2, reach back and bind off. That's 1. Knit the next stitch, reach back and bind off. That's 2. Get the next stitch, reach back and bind off. That's 3. The next stitch, knit, reach back and bind off, and that's 4 stitches. Okay. All right, now you take this stitch, put it on the right hand needle, just slide it right over. I like to go in from the same direction, so I'm doing that all the time, just going in from the front. Now I need to knit 2 stitches. I knit a stitch, pull it up, and put it on. That's one. Knit the next stitch. You don't pull it off, you just lift up the loop and put it on the right hand needle. Now I need to bind off 4. Let's go. I have to start with knitting 2 stitches, then I reach back and bind off. That's 1. Reach back, bind off. There's 2. Reach back and bind off. That's 3. 1 more. And there's 4. Stop. Lift. Put this stitch on the right hand needle. Just go in through the front, slide it right over. You start the process again. Go back into that same stitch. Let me get a little yarn here so I won't be right in the middle. And pull a little yarn out. Alright, so you go right back into that same stitch. Even though you put it right back on this needle, you go back in. Now we need to knit 2. 1. Oops. We need to knit 2 and put it on the needle. Hold on, let me just pull out. Okay, there's a stitch. You knit the stitch, pull up the loop, and then put that stitch onto the needle. And then you need to do it again. Knit, pull up the stitch, go through the front, and put it on the right needle. Now, I need to bind off 4. So I have to start with knit 1 and then knit another one, then reach back and bind off. That's 1 stitch. Knit again, reach back and bind off. There's 2. Now as we get further on into the shawl, you're going to have this little funny gap. Don't worry, the gap will take care of itself. That was 2, so now here's 3. That's number 3, and then 1 more makes 4. Alright, so now I have to put this on that needle so we can start again. You just keep starting over. It's a never ending, you just keep starting over. Okay, so knit 1 stitch, pull up the loop, turn it, and go through the front just like that. That's 1. I have to do 2. Pull it and go through the front. Now I need to bind off 4. So I knit the first 2, 1, 2, reach back and bind off. That's 1. Then 2. That's number 2 right there. Then there's that gap right there, but don't pay any attention to it. Go right into the next stitch, knit it, reach back and bind off. Oops, a little slippy here. Reach back and bind off, and 4. Knit that stitch, reach back and bind off. If your yarn splits a little bit, just back out and just put that stitch and just reach back and bind off, just like that. Now let's see, can we see anything? I know this yarn is a little dark compared to the actual shawl, but as you can see, we have a picot on the point, and there's just enough space. There's just enough space you can kind of get your finger in between so that they're just not all bunched together, and then, I didn't want that ruffle look. Alright, so the first thing you have to do, alright, now I seem to have dropped a stitch right here, so look, I don't know how I did that, but I will simply take my crochet hook, pick it up. Always keep your little crochet hook and pop it back on this needle. It just slipped off. Right, now there's my stitch right there. Alright, so now I need to put this stitch over here because that's how you start the process. You have to always put the last stitch back to the right needle. Now let's go again. Needle in, knit 1, pick it up from the front. That's 1 stitch I knit on. Do it again, pick it up, rotate and pick it up from the front. Now I need to bind off 4. So knit 1, 2, reach back and bind off. Knit again, reach back and bind off. And there's that little gap. So that'll be number 3 will be right here. Reach back, bind off, and then the last one, knit, reach back, and bind off number 4. All right. So I'm going to let you practice a little bit, and then I'm going to continue around so that I can show you how, like I said, that shawl is really long, people. I didn't think I was ever going to get done, but when I did finish, I was very happy. So I'm going to let you continue to work around as I work around on this little sample, so that you can see, it'll be on tape, how to finish when you get to this end. All right, back in just a minute. All right, so I've worked my way over to this end of my sample, my little shawl sample. And first thing you'll notice, we didn't take time to count or do any kind of math, because really, if it doesn't, it may not come out exactly the right number of stitches, but we just, we can add one or take one away or whatever to just make it fit. All we want to do is to get our picots on there to end on this shawl. And as you can see, it's looking pretty good even for this sample. Let's see now, let me just check, make sure I'm on in the frame, because I'm going to be working on this end right here. Okay, that's what I want to make sure I've got. All right, so again, just as I get near the end, I'll go over it again. After I have that 1 stitch left, I slide it to the right hand needle. Now I need to add 2 stitches. I need to add on. So I knit 1 and pull it up. I almost took it off. Don't take it off, just pull it up, put the loop on. Knit again, pull the loop up and go through the front and put it on. Now I have 2 extra stitches. A landmark or a place to see. There's that gap there. You'll see it all the way through. You should have 3 stitches, then a gap, and then we're going to use 2 of the stitches after. Okay, now watch. Just so if you get lost, you can say, oh, or this stitch was so simple, it kept putting me to sleep. All right, here we go. I'm going to knit the first 2 because I need to bind off. I knit 2 stitches and I reach back and bind off. All right, now I knit the next stitch. Can you see it? I reach back and I bind off. Now there's a gap, so number 3 is right at the gap. In case you get lost, you can say, did I bind off 2 or 3? Okay, number 3 is right here at the gap, so I'm going to knit that stitch, reach back and bind off. That's 3. Then 1 more, number 4, knit that stitch, reach back and bind off. Just like that. All right, now I start the process again. I transfer that last loop over to the right side. Then I add on my 2 stitches by knitting, pulling up the loop, and putting it on the right needle. I go through the front so that it's a real stitch. Do the next one and put it on. Now, I can just see that I have that little gap, but I have 3 stitches right before the gap. So I'm going to knit 1, 2, reach back and bind off. Knit the next stitch, reach back and bind off. There's a gap, so must be number 3. Knit the stitch, reach back and bind off, and then 4. Exact same thing. Reach back and bind off. All right, I see I'm coming to the end, but I'm not going to count. I'm going to just keep working. I put that stitch on the right hand needle again. Now I'm going to add 2 more. Pull it up, go through the front. That's 1, knit, pull it up and go through the front. Now I can start the bind off. I'm going to need the first 2 stitches, reach back and bind off. That's 1. Reach back and bind off. That's 2. There's the gap. So this is knit 1. This will be reach back and bind off. That's number 3 at the gap. And then 1 more after that one, which makes it 4. Then I pull up and stick that on here. All right, add 2 stitches. 1, 2. So now I have 3 all together. All right, here we go. Knit 2 stitches, reach back and bind off. See, I kept putting my own self to sleep. All right, let's see. Reach back and bind off. All right, that was 2. There's a gap, so this has to be 3. Knit the stitch, reach back and bind off. Okay, then ready, put that back on the right hand needle, start again. Knit 2 stitches and put them on, or add 2 stitches, just like that. All right, let's go. Knit. Oops. Well, I have to put another stitch on. I dropped that one, so I'll just put it back on. All right, now here we go. All right, knit 1, knit 2, reach back and bind off. The second knit, the next one, reach back and bind off. Now I have a gap, so I know that's the third one. Knit, bind off, and then the 4th. Knit and bind off. All right, so I'm at the end, so let's see how this is going to end. I can remove that marker. I can remove my second marker, lay it over there. All right, so first of all, I have to stand. I pull up and put this on the needle. It seems like it's never ending because you keep adding 2 stitches. All right, so I put that stitch on there, so this one is clear. Then I start again. I knit 1, I put that one on, I knit 2 and rotate and put that one on, and I'm going to start again. Knit 2, reach back and bind off. Knit the next one, reach back, bind off. There's a gap, so this is the third. Reach back and bind off. Okay, and then the 4th, reach back and bind off. All right, so now I can put this one on. Let's see, if I put this one on, let's see how many I'll get. You can just continue to go, or you can simply stop at the end. Let's see, should I go on? Let's just see if I put 2 more on, or let's just see how many we have. I'll just put 2 more on. You can just carry this out as far as you want to carry it. So I'm going to put 1, 2, okay. Now let's go again. Maybe this is the last time, because we didn't count. All right, so I knit 1, and then I knit the next one. Now I reach back and bind off. Knit that one, reach back and bind off. And I only have 1 stitch left, so I'm just going to knit it, reach back and bind off. I can lay that side down. I can pull this and have a picot. And of course you can cut your yarn and pull it through, however you do it. You can just pull it through or take it through the second time, whatever it takes. But there, now, there it is on the wrong side. And that's on mine. Like I said, I discovered that it looked better if I did it on the wrong side, because when I turn to the right side, it is so much prettier. The picots are they just lay better. See that? I'm just passing it before the camera. And there you have it, your picot edge not only for this project, but for any project that you might want to just put a little last minute touch so that you can wear your project. And how pretty is that? And how easy was that? A simple Picot bind-off stitch to finish this pretty shawl. Well, believe it or not, that's it, people. That's it. You don't have to do anything extra now. I'm going to enjoy wearing my shawl. I hope you do too. Be sure if you do this project to send me some really pretty pictures. Put yourself a pretty flower. You know, do whatever it takes to, you know, enjoy. You've worked hard. It's, like I said, it's a great project. And you can do it any time. It's just that simple. There wasn't any math or anything per se. It's simply just easy, step by step, garter tab, and then just knit every row. Well, this is Jay, and I am so glad that you gave this a try, and I look forward to seeing any pictures that you have. So, to all my friends, everyone, everywhere, every size, I wish you happy knitting, and I will see you very soon with another surprise and another project. Take care. Bye-bye.